What's up, guys? Brian Grossman here with Grossman Woodworking and DIY, out here in the big shop of horrors again. But this time I don't have anything to build today. Well, I got plenty to build, but for this video, I actually wanted to talk about a little issue I was having and hopefully a solution to that issue. Ever since I bought the shop, I've kind of been wondering in the back of my mind, how am I going to get Wi-Fi up there? Certainly not the high priority item on my list, but it was something on my mind because eventually I want to have, some security cameras in here as I get more and better tools out here. And also, like I'm a guy, I wanted a TV in here somewhere where I could watch when needed. And eventually I can foresee needing, a computer in the shop there to do office type work as well. So I needed to get Wi-Fi up here at some point, and I was trying to work through in my mind how I was going to do that. I do have a Wi-Fi extender already at my house that I use for the basement, but it just would not reach up here. I'm probably 250 feet away from the house, and it would not reach that far. Kind of in my mind, I had it down to I was either going to have to get a second internet service and pay another 80 bucks a month, or I was going to have to rent a machine and trench from the house up to here and bury some Ethernet cable. Ironically, during that time, a company called UeeVii saw my YouTube channel, reached out to me, and asked if I would like to try one of their Wi-Fi bridges. And of course, I said absolutely. It's honestly, I didn't even know they existed. Never heard of a Wi-Fi bridge, but evidently, what it does is you get two of these units, and one of them mounts, in my case, at the house at your point of internet service, and you hook your internet into it. And then the second one goes where you want to receive internet, which will be up here at the shop. And then you hook it into a router here at your shop, and you have Wi-Fi at both locations. And supposedly these things will reach over 1.5 miles. Of course, that's best case scenario, line of sight, no obstructions, that kind of thing. And that's certainly not the case with me. I only need to go a couple hundred feet, but there are some trees and stuff out there kind of in the way. So I'm hoping these will still be effective. We're going to find out today as we finish getting this thing set up. But I'm going to walk you through the process. It's pretty simple. I had a little bit of a challenge just because my modem and router in my house are at the far end of the house from where I needed to mount this thing. So we'll talk about, how I overcame that. And then we'll actually finish installing this one over here at the shop, get it hooked up, and see what kind of internet speeds we're getting over here compared to the house. If that's something that interests you, if you have a shop that's away from your house or any kind of structure that's maybe away from internet that you're trying to get internet to, this may be a great option for you. We're going to find out here today, but it may be something easier and a lot cheaper than trying to bury Ethernet cable from one location to the other. So I'm going to walk you through what I've done so far, then we'll finish the install and see what happens. All right, just to take a quick look at what you get in the box, and I've removed all the packaging, and again, I've already installed one side of it, so you're actually going to get two of these bridge units. Again, one to mount at your house or wherever your internet source is, and one to mount where you want to receive internet. You're going to get a couple of these small Ethernet cables, and I'll show you where those will be used. A couple of clamps, if you want to mount these to like a pole, you can mount it to like a satellite dish style pole and direct it where you need it to go. I did not do that, and you'll see why. My house and the shop face each other well, so I don't really need to turn them any direction. And then you'll receive two of these plugs with two Ethernet ports in them. And again, I'll show you how those work as well. It's a pretty neat setup. So yeah, I'll show you how it all works and how this all goes together. But that's basically it. Like I said, there's not a whole lot to the install, and we'll walk through it real quick. All right, guys, this is where the install started here in my house. I'm in my little hallway that leads down to the basement because this is where my modem and my Wi-Fi router are. And so you'll want to be close to that. You're going to take the plug that came with your UeeVii unit. It has two ports on it. You're going to plug this into the wall, and then the one port, the LAN port, the LAN port, is going to plug into your router. So you see this yellow cable here. It's coming from my router into this unit right here, which I have plugged in down here. The second port, I believe, is labeled PoE. You're going to plug a Ethernet cable into that, and that is going to run to wherever you mount this unit. It's going to plug into this. And that not only provides the internet signal to this, but it also provides the power. You don't have to have a separate power source, which is nice because I don't know how I would have run power up into my attic easily, but I didn't have to. But what I did have to do is cut a hole in the wall here because I'm at the far end of the house from where I needed to mount this unit right here. So I cut a hole in the wall. I've run the Ethernet 100-foot cable up through the wall, all the way across my attic and out my eave on the other side, which we'll go take a look at here in just a second. But pretty simple install on the house side. Again, you just have to plug this in somewhere near your router, run your router into one port, and then run Ethernet cable from the other port to your UeeVii bridge unit. So pretty simple on this side, and then we're just going to do the reverse over at the shop, but we'll get to that here shortly. But let's go take a look at where I mounted the unit on the house and how I came out the eave on the other side there. All right, guys, I'm out here on the far side of my house, and as you can see up here behind me, I mounted the unit on the wall close to this eave so I could run my Ethernet cable out the eave and into the unit without having to drill any more holes through the brick or anything. So that made it easier on my part, but I mounted it up here high because it's got to shoot straight across over here to where my shop is. And so that's why, you know, if you need to make it directional, you can use like a satellite type mount up on like the eave of your house and turn it whichever way you need to. But in my case, it's a pretty straight shot from the house to the shop. So hopefully this will work. Other than all the trees right there, I'm hoping that the signal will still be strong enough to get through that. But that's all there is as far as mounting it. And then let me flip the camera around and show you the couple of settings that you have on the inside of this unit. All right, so this is the underside of the UeeVii bridge unit, and as you can see, it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. You just have two Ethernet ports, and we'll only be using one of these on each unit for our installation, and that will run from that Ethernet port. The cable will run to the plugs that came with our system. You also have this little switch here that you can see that is labeled A and B, and on the unit at your house, you will switch that one to A, and then the unit that will be receiving the internet signal will be switched to B. You also have a button over here on the right that allows you to select up to, I can't remember if it's 9 or 16 different channels, but I guess that's, you know, if you were happen to get interference or poor reception on one channel, you can switch that to a different channel, but both units will need to be on the same channel. And for my installation, I'm just going to leave them on the default channel 1. But that's all there is to setting up the unit itself. Now that we have it all set up on the house here, we're going to take this unit, the plug and everything, over to the shop, get that installed, and see how this thing works. I did not make this giant hole in the siding. I don't know how that happened. Kind of scary to think what might have flew out of there, but we're going to use it in this case for testing purposes, and then I'll get an official cleaner hole in there eventually if this works. For now, we ain't gonna worry about aesthetics. All right, I brought it over here for now because I know I got a good plug back here behind this toolbox. And I did forget to mention earlier, it does come with a detailed set of instructions for setting this all up. And there's a lot of good YouTube videos out there, hopefully of which includes my own. Okay, so this will go in the power side, the PoE. Yeah, PoE, it goes in this side. And then, let me get that plugged in. That should start sending power to that one. And then this one here will go on the other side. And this will eventually go to a router, but we're just going to hook it into my laptop here in a minute just to see if it worked and what kind of speeds we're getting over here. But first, we'll go back over to the house and test my Wi-Fi speeds over there with my laptop. And then, yeah, we'll come back over here and see what we have to work with. All right, we're going to run a Google Internet speed test here and see what happens. All right, there you go. Now my wife's in there streaming TV, so that might have something to do with it. But yeah, 7.5 megabits per second download, 8.23 megabits per second upload. So with that, let's try one more time just to have a baseline here. All right, 17 and 10, so a little better on that second run. Now, let's take it up to the shop and see what kind of internet speeds we have up there, if any. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but the lights are all lit up on the side there, so that's a good sign. And with that, we're going to go in here and hook it up to the laptop and see what happens. All right, not ideal test conditions here, but I'm going to make do. Oh, Lord. Well, it's like first I got to get an adapter.
Well, unfortunately, I was not able to find the adapter for my Mac, but what I was able to find was this old Asus PC laptop that I had over at the house, and it does have an Ethernet port. Now, I lost audio for some reason when I recorded this little segment, so I'm having to do this voiceover. But I got the Ethernet cable plugged in, and we're running a speed test here, just like we did over at the house. And very, very surprisingly, internet speeds were much, much faster over here at the shop. Close to 100 megabits per second download speeds and over 10, maybe 11 megabits per second upload speeds. So I'm not sure why that is. It could be that I'm plugged directly into the port instead of using Wi-Fi. Or it could be that my wife got off Netflix over there at the house. But either way, I'm getting a good, strong signal over here at the shop. And so I don't think I'll have any problem whatsoever hooking this up to a Wi-Fi router and running whatever I need to run over here at the shop.
All right, guys, that wraps up our install of the UeeVii wireless bridge. And that really turned out fairly simple. I'm happy with how that all came together. I did, because of the location of my modem and router, I had to run 100 foot of Ethernet, up through the wall and through the attic over to this side of the house to where I could mount that bridge unit. But other than that, everything was very simple and straightforward. Probably didn't have an hour total tied up into the install, minus running that extra Ethernet cable. Yeah, this worked out really well for just a little over $100 to be able to get internet over here and not have to pay another internet bill or rent a ditch witch and bury Ethernet cable from my house over to the shop here. And it seems like the speeds are going to be good too. So definitely a win-win. Now, if that's something you need, if you need to get internet from your house to a shop or some other kind of outbuilding on your property, definitely give the UeeVii wireless bridge system a look. Like I said, you can't beat it for the price. It's definitely a great way to get internet to an outbuilding like that without spending an arm and a leg. And UeeVii has provided me with a discount code that you guys can use. I don't know what the discount is yet at the time of this filming, but I'll have all that information in the description below. So go ahead and check that out if that is something you need. But I appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and the little notification bell so you don't miss another one of our videos. Got lots of builds coming up, lots more shop renovation. And yeah, just looking forward to sharing all that with you guys. But with that, guys, we will see you on the next one.